Hello everyone, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. This is Gina, I am your host, and I'm very excited to be here with you today to go over that fabulous little car seat that you see behind me. That is going to be the UPPAbaby ROVE Convertible seat. So before we get started, if you haven't yet, go ahead and follow, subscribe. You can share this video too if it makes sense to share it with someone, because sharing is caring. So the more that we grow this viewership of this channel, the easier it is for me to get these kind of products from fabulous companies like UPPAbaby to be able to demonstrate them and explain them to you. So this is my video on the UPPAbaby ROVE. I hope you enjoy it. And if it makes sense, also after the video, if you want to buy this, you can head on over to my website, destinationbabykids.com. I'm a real store in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. Would love to sell it and send it directly to you. Okay, so as you can see, we have a convertible seat here sitting next to me. This color is called Cody. This is blue. The brand is UPPAbaby, and you know what? I'm actually going to keep this guy here because we may need to zoom in or out. This car seat is a convertible seat, so that means it converts from being rear facing to forward facing, so that's pretty fabulous. I have it set up here showing it in a forward-facing mode, but it does have a rear-facing pillow in it. So let's just launch into all the important information before we get ahead of ourselves. All right, so the cost. Cost on this guy is going to be $399. So this is a fabulous price point for a convertible car seat. The seat has a range, so let's talk about how big kiddo can be to sit in it. The range for this seat is going to be 14 pounds rear facing through to 50 pounds for a rear facing kiddo, and then in a forward facing it's going to be 30 pounds to 65 pounds in the forward facing mode. So that is a really nice long ability to use the seat. It definitely falls into the category of what is referred to as extended rear facing. So if you wanted to do extended rear facing, this seat would definitely be a good option for that. So we like that very much. Now, the expiration on the seat. So people frequently ask, like, hey, when I buy it, how long is it good for? You know, if I want to use it for multiple kids, how long would I have before it expires? So this is a 10-year expiration from date of purchase, which is fabulous. But there's a bigger component of this that's really special. It's a 10-year expiration, but UPPAbaby is giving their car seats now a limited lifetime warranty. So what does that mean? That means if you're the original owner and you bought it from an authorized UPPAbaby retailer like destinationbabykids.com, one of the 4 fabulous colors they offer on my website, you're going to have the full 10 years of expiration, also have the car seat warranted. So a lot of brands might have a 10-year expiration, but a 1 or a 2-year warranty. Really, really special that UPPAbaby is doing the limited lifetime warranty on the seats. So this is really, really special. At that $399 price point, you are getting a very strong value for dollar just right there without even launching into all the other fabulous aspects of the seat. So the limited lifetime warranty is really setting UPPAbaby apart with car seats for 2025. So love to point that out and explain that to people. And the seat will hold a kiddo all the way up to 49 standing inches. So what is a little different about this convertible seat versus maybe some other ones is that with other seats, they might start from as little as 5 pounds or a newborn baby. This car seat would not be suitable for a newborn. You would need to have a kiddo who is at least 14 pounds before you would put them in this seat. Typically 14 pounds is going to put most kids at least 3 months plus. But something to be aware of when you're looking at it compared to some of the other convertible seats. So just something to be aware of. Now, it is FAA certified, so if you did want to bring it on an airplane so that you could strap the kiddo in, you'd be able to. The thing that I would say about that, though, is you would need to check the dimensions of your airplane seat. The overall width of this seat is going to be 19.5 inches wide. So if your airplane seat with the armrest is narrower than that and it doesn't have an armrest that comes up, that won't fit in the seat. So you should check with your airline prior to traveling how wide the seat is going to be because of your car seat if you want to use it on the airplane. Okay, and the weight of the seat overall, if you were to travel with it, is 25 pounds. So it's not terrible. It's definitely sturdy, and it's going to have EPP shock foam in the seat itself. So anytime you start adding more of those safety components to a seat, it does generally make the weight increase. So 25 pounds feels very reasonable for how safe it is. And it has the side impact protection built into the sides. We'll show you that as well. But all of those little pieces obviously add to more weight. But the intention, again, is that this is a stationary car seat where it stays in the car, rear facing through at least 2 years of age, if not longer. And then we wouldn't turn it around forward facing until kiddo is at least 30 pounds and also 2 years of age. So that's the law in California. They may have an age recommendation in the book that I did not see, but that's what I'm going to go with, because as a technician, we would always encourage you to keep your kiddo rear facing as long as humanly possible, because sitting backward is 80% safer than sitting forward. And UPPAbaby is going to enable you to do that, because the seat will hold the 50 pounds when it's in backward mode, and the harness height goes up to 17 inches. So we'll show you that in a second. Actually, that's what we should get into right now. So our minimum harness height here is 11 inches, but then if we want to, we're going to be able to raise the harness as kiddo gets bigger. I also want to take out, there is a newborn pad that's included in the purchase price when you buy the seat. Not newborn pad, excuse me. Smaller child pad. The smaller child pad is for 14 to 20 pounds. So that's that guy. That would then come out of the seat. And then the nice thing about the little belly pad cover is that there is a bit of Velcro on the back. So if you tuck it into this seat fabric properly underneath, there is a Velcro lineup, so it would stay there, which is really nice. And then it kicks that buckle forward. Really great. Another nice feature of this seat is that it has a very clear labeled pockets where you can tuck these harness pieces in, and that enables you to take kiddo in and out without having to dig that out from under their tuchus. So very nice feature. Really appreciate that feature. Another insane feature of the seat before we get into installation and harness height and all of that is that the lower portion of the seat and the backrest underneath here are all removable and washable with a zipper and with Velcro. So this icky part down here that gets filthy with crumbs and all kinds of debris and like little juice stains, anything disgusting, you're gonna be able to take this out and wash it, which is so fabulous. And the same is true on that backrest if it gets sweaty. So nice feature set. And as you can see, one cup holder included in the purchase price of $3.99. All right, so that being said, minimum harness height is 11 inches and our tallest harness height is going to be 17 inches. So when I talk about that with car seats, why that matters is the seat may claim to hold a certain amount of weight, like let's say 50 pounds, but if the harness doesn't accommodate the body for getting taller, that's a problem. So a 17-inch harness height is a very, very reasonable length on a convertible seat. Particularly, that's a really good tall harness height, so we do love that. The depth of this seat, so from the back part of the seat coming through to the forward part of the seat is about 14 inches in a forward-facing mode. In a backward-facing mode, it does get a little smaller. I'll explain that when I install it. The installation depth, we'll get into that when we show it in rear-facing mode. Belly buckle depth. So there's three positions on this lower part for the belly pad buckle. This is going to have the 3 position spots of 4 inches, 5 inches, and 6 inches deep. You want it closest to their body without sitting fully underneath. The seat width goes at its narrowest from 10.5 to its widest through the shoulders to about 14 inches wide. And then, as I said, the overall width of the seat is about 19.5. Now, something pretty cool about this seat is that they do enable you to do a non-standard latch scenario installation if your vehicle manual allows it. So long story short is sometimes for some car seats in the center position, there isn't a lower anchor hookup. On this car seat, if that were the case and you wanted to borrow from the outboard neighbors, provided that your car manual was in alignment and agreement with this book and said, yes, you can do that, this guy will give you a width of up to 22 inches wide for the lower anchor attachment. So that is pretty special. Not a lot of seats do that, so I did think that that was cool and I would point that out. And so speaking of lower anchors, what are our lower anchor weight capacities here? A rear-facing setup, you wouldn't stop using the lower anchors at 40 pounds, and then for forward-facing, up to a 45 pound. So it's a little higher than some of the other brands, which is nice. If you are intending to hook it up with lower anchors and top tether, nice feature set that is included there. The seat has a true lock off for when we install it, which we're going to get into right now. And then if I were to say anything is a little awkward about the seat, the chest clip is just very big. It's normal, like in alignment with other ones, but it just looks a lot like a stroller chest clip. I like that though because it's not little for little fingers to get around. So I do think from like a safety standpoint, that's very cool. Now, what I want to touch on with this seat while installing it is I'm going to install it rear facing just because that is, I think, more useful for our purposes of this video right now. So I'm going to spin my vehicle seat facing toward me. I'm going to take the seat. The seat has 5 separate reclines, but in rear facing, you have 3 position recline, and in forward facing, you have 2 position recline. Now the book wasn't super clear, unfortunately, if you can recline it while it's installed. I wasn't able to get it to do that based on the way it installs, so my suspicion is that the answer would be no, but we would want to check with UPPAbaby just to like triple check and make sure. My suspicion is they're going to say no because when you do get this correctly installed, it is not going to move at all. So getting the seat after it's installed to have like an adjustable recline would be very difficult. Now, additionally, the recline mechanism squeeze is on the back of the seat. Most of the car seats put them on the front. I actually prefer this on the back because if you're doing an installation rear facing, it's easier to squeeze the back of the seat and tip it to get it to lock to where you want it to go versus squeezing on the front and getting your hand caught in there. So I love that. Now, when we install the seat, let's see how strong I am. Let me pop this cup holder off just because. Actually, I think it'll come out like that. Okay. Removable cup holder, very cool, washable. But I'm going to set this seat up just to show you guys this because this is actually very cool. Raise that headrest too just to make my life easier. But on this lower portion of the seat, there's a zippered panel. So if I unzip this and you open this up, on the inside of the seat, there's a lock off, which is over on your right, on the right side of the screen. And then there's like a gray piece on my right, your left, which has a little window. I'm not sure if it's coming up, but the window will turn green when the seat's correctly installed. So, why does this matter? A lot of seats, when you want to do the installation, they have what's called a hidden belt path. That's extremely annoying. This is an open belt path, meaning we can see exactly where our seatbelt's going to go. I'm going to do a seatbelt installation just because I don't generally install with lower anchors anymore. If you have to switch over to seatbelt, my feeling is why not just install with seatbelt initially. So I'm going to show belt installation, but again, you would run your lower anchors through the same piece. And again, this video does not substitute the instruction manual. So this is not like how to install the seat. This is me superseding the instructions. This is just me quickly showing so that you guys understand how to do it. Always read your manual front to back and leave it in your glove box so you've just got it there. All right, so I'm going to feed my seatbelt through the belt path, which is marked very clearly in blue, which most car seat brands do. Blue for rear facing, and then usually it's red for forward facing. So I went ahead and buckled my seatbelt. I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's clear. And I will say their instruction book is really, really awesome and clear about how to do every step and also what you're looking for with your seatbelts. As the tech, a lot of times the books are just worse than anything that you've ever seen in your life, and it's like, who wrote this? The instruction manual is super clear, so I have to give them credit for that. Whoever wrote that should be extremely proud of themselves. I'm going to pull on the shoulder belt component of my seatbelt and run that across the back of the car seat. And there was a window that was red that has now turned green. So on their infant seats, they call it Smart Secure. I'm going to say that it's still the Smart Secure system because you have a window explaining like, yep, it's tight enough. And now I'm going to press down on the gray clamp with my hand, just like that. and the seat's installed. I don't have to do an additional lock off, which is a really nice feature, because like a lot of times people forget to do that. Other car seat brands, you'll have a door that'll clamp onto the seat, and then you'll pull it, and as you can see here, this is not moving at all. The whole seat's moving, but the actual car seat's not moving. If you forget to lock this off, then the seat might not be technically correctly installed. The car seat manufacturers may still want you to lock this belt off. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to do that. So now I can re-zip that material that I unzipped. And again, this is great because if they have a wet or like disgusting puff crumbs, because those puff crumbs, they drive me insane. All right, well, I'm going to zip this at the end, but you would zip it back on super easily. You may want to get that not fully unzipped before you do it, like I just did, because it's a little bit hard to put together, but not the end of the world. All right, so the seat's installed. There's one more thing that's really, really special about this car seat that a lot of other car seats in this price point are lacking. So for $399, this seat will come with an anti-rebound feature. So a lot of times the seat will have an anti-rebound bar right here, or they may have a foot that goes to the floor, like a stability load leg. What you're looking for is when we're driving in this direction and we stop, the kid's head is the heaviest part of the body. The seat will want to initially bear downward toward the floor, and then it'll pop back up. So that's why a lot of seats have some type of barrier here. What you can do, instead of mitigating the secondary motion of the seat flying forward, is you can do a preventative measure to stop the seat from riding down to begin with. In Australia, they've done it forever. They call it like the Australian Q tether or Z tether, Z tether, I don't know. But this is like, if you look at older Australian car seats, I mean, I've been a tech for like 15 years now, so at any rate, what you do is you take your anchor strap, which would normally go for a forward-facing installation, and this is great because this is marked with yellow. So you basically take the yellow strap on the back of the seat, you feed it through a little wing that is right next to it, and you'll go ahead and you'll take the seat, and you'll run it all the way down to your anchor point. Top tether, excuse me, not anchor. You'll run it to your top tether and you'll tighten. So now that this is tight, I mean, it's like tight, it's not taut, but it's pretty tight. If we were to stop, the seat would not have that ability to surge down in that direction. So if we prevent the movement of it rocking this way, it's not going to slam back up in the other direction. Now, before you say, but that gets in the way of taking kiddo in and out of the car, you would clearly route it away from the door, meaning my door isn't here. My door to get in the vehicle would be here. So I don't have anything in the way because this strap is on the interior side. I think this is a great safety feature. Kleck also does this. You can do this with Kleck car seats. They also have an anti-rebound bar. So you're covered either way. But it is a sweet safety feature, and I think it's nice that they include it. I also think it's nice that it adds like an additional stability point for the seat. And the seat is particularly special, and I was going to talk about this, the dimensions of this guy, because it doesn't take a newborn baby, right? We talked about that already. What's significant about that? If it doesn't take a newborn baby, it doesn't have to be hyper reclined. What do I mean by that? A lot of convertible car seats, because they will work for children that are newborns, have to be set to like a higher level of recline to accommodate a baby's head, never touching chin to chest. Now, because this seat is not intended for a newborn, the seat actually sits a little bit more upright than some of the other car seats in the same class. Oh my God, this is terrible. I did not do this properly. Normally, you have this nice and neat, but the reality would be, yes, you would pull this first. So at any rate, we'd roll it all up and it would be super nice and neat in there. But the point of the story is, because the seat back is more upright here, the amount of space it takes up in the car is less nose to tail than like any car seat I've sold in years. So years ago, when you had seats that only held 40 pounds, the back shell was so short that like you could shove it into any car and it wouldn't be an issue. Now with these seats that do extended rear facing, right? They hold kids forever to sit backward. The shell of the seat is longer, so it just takes up more space front to back in the back seat. The dimensions for this installed were pretty insane. Now again, this is not like 100% guaranteed it's gonna fit in your tiny car. These were the dimensions I got measuring it here in the store with installing it super duper tightly. I'm pretty adept at installing seats hyper tight. The tighter you install a seat, the less room it's gonna take up in your car. So everybody's probably gonna get a slightly different measurement, but the measurement that I got at its littlest, so littlest nose to tail, and its most upright, still capable rear facing, was 25 inches of installation space. At its typical, it's gonna be about 26 and a half at its most reclined, because every new parent sets it at its most reclined without fail. So if you set it at its most reclined, it's 26 and a half. And then if you engage the headpiece and pull that up to its tallest point, that takes up an additional 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. So I'd say 27 to 27 and a quarter at its absolute longest, with the body at its fully extended, at its most reclined. Now again, at its most upright with that headpiece down, 25 inches nose to tail, which is pretty crazy. Now the depth of the seat when it's installed backward is like 11 and a half inches. But if you Google images of kids doing extended rear facing, you'll see they'll put their feet wherever it's comfortable. They'll cross their legs, they'll set them up here. But it's gonna be a nice little option for that if you have a vehicle that might have a more constrained space. So the last thing I wanna say is they do 4 colors for it. They do a blue, a tan, a black, and then they also do a gray. Blue, tan, and black are all flame retardant free. Gray is also flame retardant free, but gray, the Grayson is special because it's their pure tech. That is merino wool with hyperallergenic features. So if that would be a concern for you or something you would want to pursue getting that color. And the car seat's Green Guard Gold certified. So, you know, in a sealed space, it's not going to be off-gassing all kinds of weird chemicals, which is really awesome. We really love that. So lots to love. Really great price point, 4 fabulous colors. Head on over to my website, destinationbabykids.com, and pick yourself up a Rove car seat if it makes sense for you. I think this is a really nice little option for caregivers or even non-primary caregivers. I'm an aunt, and I do think that this is nice. And like, I like that they have a vanilla bean color. It's very cool. So yeah, check it out on my website, and go ahead and check out the videos of me comparing this to, let's say, like the NUNA RAVA or other car seats as well. Thank you so much for watching. Leave questions and comments below. Hopefully we'll see you guys in our next video.